Hi, I'm Rich Wood. I've been asked to say a bit about how to build diverse groups, diverse organizations, maybe in your school, maybe in your neighborhood. In talking about that, I want to talk about how to build powerful, diverse organizations, because I really think, given the state of American society, the state of the world today, the change is urgent, and the work that you're doing is urgent. So in talking about diversity today, I want to think about all kinds of diversity, including racial, ethnic diversity, diversity across economic class. That is, how do you work with poor folks, with working class folks, with middle and upper middle class folks, and even people from really elite backgrounds, maybe in the economic system, maybe in politics, because I think we need allies in those places to really be successful. And again, I was told to think about the variables at play in that kind of work. And the way I think about that is, what are the things that you can control in your organization to make it more powerful and more diverse? The first one I'd talk about is, one thing you can control is whether your group is just talking to each other, or is it really about action, doing something together? And I'd like to push us, all of our groups, more towards taking action together, partly because change is really urgent, but also because by talking together, I think it pushes us to find really shared interests across those lines of diversity, maybe shared concrete projects that people are working on together. And only that way do we really begin to make a difference in the world. Another thing I think you can control is what I'd call the culture of your work. That is, in my work I write about religious faith as sort of the underlying culture in certain kinds of progressive organizations. You might think about the shared culture of being in a school together, the same culture in the neighborhood that pulls people together, the culture of being young people facing maybe bad relations with the police or abuse by the police. Or maybe it's shared music, and the kind of music everybody loves and that helps bring them together. And I think culture matters because if you're trying to pull people together across lines of diversity, it helps to have something that provides a kind of glue that holds them together. And often if you think culturally, you can help find that kind of glue for your group. A third thing I think you can control in your group is how relational you are as you reach out to other people across lines of diversity. That is, do you just reach out to them to try to manipulate them into working on your agenda? Or do you reach out really relationally, really trying to understand their world, how they see the world, what's important to them, where their passions lie? And the more relational you are, I think the more you can really embed yourself in the cultures that matter to them and build real dialogue and act with real integrity so you're not manipulating people, but finding common interests, finding shared concern, and hopefully real passion for changing the world. And I do want to emphasize that I do think, even though it's urgent, it's also a long-term struggle. Changing the world is not an easy thing. The world will push back or just ignore you. And I think to think of this as a 5 or 10-year struggle that you're engaged in, that you're committed to, means that it's important to make it fun for yourself and for others. It's important to make it meaningful, find ways of building meaning into everything that you do, and also to reflect on what you're doing, to learn from every step of the way, whether you're successful or not successful in a given effort. Find ways to learn from it and reflect on it together so you're building up the culture of your group. And I say all that because I really do think the future is at stake in the kind of work that you're doing out there. Young people in high school and college, young adults. As we work to change the world, the future really is in your hands.